released in 2009 exclusively for the Wii. It was a hack and slash beat 'em up, and it was the very first game developed by Platinum Games. MadWorld is an oddity of its time because, in my opinion, the beginning of the end for Nintendo started with the Wii. It's the safe and clean era, as I like to put it. People's ears perked up when they heard how violent this game was. And in addition to the gruesome violence, the game's graphics are super stylized and almost remind you of like Frank Miller's Sin City or like some sort of comic book. And with the simple black and white color palette, or should I say yellow and black, oh, and red because blood, it made this game stand out. Set in the fictional place called Vatican City, a terrorist group known as the Organizers severed all transportation and communication ties with the rest of the world. By releasing a deadly virus into the city, the Organizers tell everyone in the populace that if they murder another person, they will receive a vaccine. The city quickly turns into a stage for a game show called Death Watch, where the remaining citizens become the show's contestants, hoping to be the top-ranked fighter and win the large cash prize and the right to live. You play as Jack Kamen, a man who looks like a combination of Hellboy and Jet from Cowboy Bebop, with a chainsaw arm. Speaking of Cowboy Bebop, Jack is actually voiced by one of the most iconic voice actors, in my opinion, Steve Bloom, who was Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. Seriously, he's been in so many iconic things throughout my childhood that it's just ingrained into my brain. Even if I didn't know his name, I would be like, yep, that's Spike. Yep, that's Mugen.
No touching corpses. Wow, you're chock full of helpful hints.
Jack's motivation and intentions for entering Death Watch through most of the game are very unclear until we figure out slowly that he has his own agenda for doing this. I know I probably say this a lot, and most of the time it's true, but the story in this game I could give two shits about. When you have a game with this heavy of an M rating, the gameplay will always trump the story, especially when the genre of the game is a hack and slash. And I'm not saying all hack and slash games have a very shallow story, but I just don't care. MadWorld's structure is very simplistic. The way it works is every level is a different section of the city with a boss fight at the end. Within every level, you are required to meet a certain amount of points in order to progress. And the more gruesome and violent your kills are, the more points you're awarded. Jack has multiple ways of getting down and dirty. Smashing the A button will perform a combo punching attack. This can also be used while jumping to execute a ground pound. By holding down the B button and swinging the Wii remote, that'll activate Jack's chainsaw mode. Here, you can tear through enemies and thugs like butter. There's a ton of different environmental objects that Jack can use to maim his enemies, such as rose bushes, grinders, and even trains. And once you have a certain amount of points, there will be mini games that will pop up within the level, such as hitting people with baseball bats into big dartboards, tossing them into a jet engine, and even putting them into mortar cannons and shooting them up into the air and they explode like fireworks. And of course, once you reach the target amount of points required, you can fight the end boss. This person is another ranked fighter in the Death Watch game. They have their own skills and movesets, but really all you have to do is swing your chainsaw at them until you initiate a clash. A clash is a quick time event, usually making you shake the fuck out of the Wii Remote nunchuck. Once you win the clash, the enemy will be thrown back into whatever deadly object was left there in order to do big damage to them. Do this 3 or 4 times and you won. Now here is where you'll start to notice that the game is very repetitious. Every time you reach a certain amount of points, a chest will unlock that will give you a different weapon, which switches up the gameplay a little bit, not by a whole lot, because in the end you're doing the same thing to every single enemy. Another way that the game utilizes the Wii motion controls is by doing finishers. Here, the attacks are not dictated by the Wii sensor bar. You don't have to have it in a certain direction, even though it says on screen like, move the Wii remote this way. Really, all you have to do is shake it. But doing these finisher moves will grant you a lot of points, and the kills are gruesome. So at least Platinum Games was smart enough to not dictate our attacks by using the Wii sensor bar. That would just be a fucking nightmare. Something that I love about this game, and it gives it just even more character than it already has, is the narrators, the commentators that are talking while you're in every level. These guys are like the sportscaster who's, on TV giving you the play-by-play. We have Howard Buckshot Holmes and former Death Watch fighter Kreese Creeley.
You know what I don't get? I don't get why they call him Little Eddie when he's so fucking big.
I think it's supposed to be ironic.
What?
You know, the use of words to express something other than, and especially the opposite of, the literal meaning, usually a humorous or sardonic literary style or form.
You got beat up in school a lot, didn't you?
These guys are hilarious, and occasionally Kreese will give you his perspective on what he might do in that situation, which will give you some, I guess, help in order to rack up more points. The music for me helps me zone out and just hack through the enemies to get through the rest of the game. It's got a very Sega Jet Set Radio, a little bit edgier hip-hop vibe to it. I don't necessarily think it goes well with this game, but I do like this kind of music, so I'm fine with it.
Let's go. Until we falling out, breaking along, we out of control, we down the road. Y'all wanna get it up, then let me.
MadWorld for me is the epitome of style over substance, and that's not always a bad thing. And I would say here for this game, it's acceptable. On the normal difficulty setting, this game could be beat in about 6 hours. Now, if you want more of a challenge and a little bit longer gameplay run, just do the harder difficulty, trust me. I really didn't have a whole lot to say about this game. It is what it is. It's a mindless hack and slash that is very violent, and that is perfectly fine. Platinum Games as a developer has come a long way, and it's cool to see that their very first game was something this original and this cool. I'm not gonna hold canceling Scalebound against you guys. Maybe you guys didn't even cancel it. Maybe it was Microsoft, or I don't know who did it. I wanted that game, so if we could get Scalebound, like, back, put that on the Xbox Series X as an exclusive, people will buy it. Let me know down in the comments section what you guys think of MadWorld. Have you played it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Or what your favorite Platinum Games video game is. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because it lets you know when I do new videos every week. And if you want to check me out on social media, links are down below in the video description, and I will see you guys next time in the Nerd Lair.